Okay, now starting to get to work on the action. I'll be able to show you all the processes for repairing each mechanism. You have to take each one off individually by undoing this screw. There we are. I've already taken off the remains of that piece of leather using a knife. You just scrape down it and round the bend and pull the old piece of leather off. Then you check what's the matter with it, and you'll notice, see this little piece of leather here? What you do is you touch it with your thumb, and if it turns to powder, it means you have to replace that piece of leather. But you notice it doesn't turn to powder, so that is okay. That little piece of cushion, that's the remains of it. You just scrape the remains off it with a knife till you get down to back to the wood. Yeah. So you get a piece of cushion felt like this, and then with a pair of scissors you cut a piece off that's the right size, and then using a small hot glue gun, that's the best because it gives instant bond. You put a little bit of hot glue on there and then press the cushion on. Press it firmly into place. And that will be, I haven't glued it, but that will then be the cushion done. The other thing that needs doing is this spring. That spring needs to be replaced. You need to drift out the axle, which is made up of lots of fibres. Come over to this one. You need a little press. You need a little press, and then you put this on here, and you can push the axle out by pushing down. You notice all the fibres come out of one end. Oops, that's the screw. And you can just pull them out. And then you can then just pull the remains of the spring out. See, and there's the rest of the axle. All just comes out. Then you get yourself a new spring. You put it into position, the right way round, which is like that. That hook's under there. So you put it into position like that. And you need a new axle. And for this, you use an ordinary cocktail stick. I've already started this one. And you make sure you can, it's got an end that you can push in. There we are. You push that into the hole. And it should be a jam-in fit, so you don't need any glue. There, it's come out the other side. Then you get a pair of snippers. Snip it off as flush as possible. That's it. Flatten over the what's left. Or you can even sand the edge. You can even sand the bit that's sticking out. You want to make sure there's no more than 0.5 millimetre sticking out. otherwise they'll get in the way of each other. Then you can test the spring by putting it into the cotton loop like that, and you can see spring loaded piece again, working perfectly. Another thing to check for, you've checked this leather to make sure it hasn't perished by rubbing it. If it doesn't turn into dust, that means it's okay, but you might find out that not only do those cushions need replacing because they've been eaten, but also they can get into the cotton, the felt that's they've used to put in behind the leather, and you can see there's a hole there that has been eaten. So you get something that you can prod into to see how big the hole is, and pad it round until you're sure that that's the extent of the hole. So that the hole is just there, it doesn't come out the other side, so you can see there's nothing wrong with the rest of that cotton wadding. And the best way to repair that is to use a silicone sealant which you inject into the hole. Let a little bit come out so you can see that it's coming out. There it is. And you inject that into the hole until it won't take any more. There it is, it's starting to come out, and then you take that away a little bit more. There we are. And then when you're sure you've put in enough sealant, you press this piece of leather. And you should see it bulge slightly, the sealant, that shows it's full up with sealant. You just wipe off the excess and leave that to dry. So that's now been repaired. The sealant never goes hard and always remains spongy like the original cotton wadding, so it gives a very good repair. All you need to do now is scrape that felt off with a knife and put another one of those, another piece of this red felt cushion in place of that green one. So then you'd have replaced the spring, you'd have fixed the wadding behind the leather, you'd have replaced the cushion, and all you have to do now is remount it from where you took it off and carry on doing, they're numbered, so this is number 30 which goes in there, and then you carry on and do the whole lot until you've done the whole lot. And when you've done that, you're then in a position to remove these tapes, just snip them off and replace these leathers. You use you do the new tape and the leather at the same time. You get yourself a new piece of leather. This is actually an old piece, but imagine it's a new piece. You get yourself a new piece of leather and you get yourself a tape, and you glue them both on to into that position simultaneously. So when you've done that, you'll have a brand new leather, a brand new tape, and all the rest of the hammer base will have been repaired. And you do that for every single hammer. Then you recondition the action. That's it.